right. So I heard a report this weekend about what's happening down at Howard University, probably the flagship of historically black schools, founded in 1867, 2 years after the Civil War ended and slavery was effectively ended in America. Black people, they're Hamites, got together and founded an institution, higher education institution, and for the last 150 years, it has been standing, Howard University. I've known several people. One of the members of our church attended Howard University. I have a cousin who graduated from Howard University with a medical degree. And a large number of people, Howard University attendees. But I heard a report that was stunning. This just came out of left field this weekend. And somebody at Howard University, the students at Howard University are complaining about the living conditions in the dorms, complaining about rats, roaches, mold, mildew. And if that's what's going on in the dorms, then what else is happening to the level of education, at Howard University? And Hamite people, black people, they abandon the moment somebody white offers them an opportunity to be pinch-nosed. They used to call them Uncle Tom, but now I call them pinch-nosed. The moment they get an opportunity, they abandon. But for years, nearly 100 years, Hamite, we black people understood that we could, with slavery, what has happened, put that in the past. Let's get together, educate, build businesses. And how it flourished. For 100 years, it flourished. It was because that's what we did until the race baiters came along, the hustlers and the pimps came along and began to turn us away from the ethics that built places like Tuskegee and Fisk and Shaw and some of the other great schools, Spelman and Morehouse. We got turned away from that once the race baiters came, the race hustlers, the profiteers, the pinch-nosed Negroes, and the liberal whites who financed their propaganda. How it's now fallen down into the slumps where it's become a dump, a rat and roach-infested dump. And I imagine the education is the same level. I'll tell you what, I got a clip. I'm going to let you listen to the clip because you say, well, where are you getting that from? Well, I'm going to let you listen to it. Mr. Engineer, roll that piece I pulled up.
Been a spotlight on Howard University, where dozens of students have been protesting now for over a month. They are demanding the school drastically improve their living conditions. Complaints range from toxic mold in the dorms to rat and roach infestations in the dining halls. Howard University released a statement to CNN saying the school is committed to transparency and, quote, hopeful the measures we've taken, including listening to and communicating with students, supplementing resources within our residence halls, and inviting elected faculty, alumni, and student leadership to participate in board committee meetings with voting power will set us on a path toward a peaceful resolution. Joining us now is Channing Hill, a freshman at Howard who's been part of these protests for weeks. You heard what we were told in a statement from the university there. I know one of the things that you and your fellow students have really been pushing for is you want to sit down with Dr. Frederick, the president of Howard. You want to have a live, in-person town hall where students can ask their questions and hopefully get some answers. Where does that stand?
When you read that statement, it took me by surprise, but not in a rueful surprise, because the university president, Wayne Frederick, said the same thing in his State of the University address on Friday, and essentially said the same thing at his address of the 2018 protest 2 years ago, that he would like to center and hear from student voices, and I've yet to see that action.
And I should point out, you have a little more experience. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Channing. I thought we're done with that. I just wanted to correct myself too. You're a junior, not a freshman, so you have a lot of experience here when you reference what's happening in 2018. So you're hearing these words consistently. Doesn't sound like you're seeing a lot of action. Why do you think that is? I mean, you have had parents backing these efforts. You have had prominent alumni. You had the Reverend Jesse Jackson weigh in as well. You have had so many people come out in support of what you're asking for. Why do you think there is a resistance to engage with the student community?
I'm not sure. I can't answer for a university president who refuses to speak to his students. I can't give that answer for a university administration who we technically pay. I can't give that answer. But what I can tell you is that the students simply are looking for conversation. Our demands are not demanding. They've never been. To ask a town hall of the university that we go to when there are students who are being made ill, including me, from their dormitories. And this is not just a 2021 issue. This was an issue in 2019. This was the issue in 2017. This was the issue in 2018. This was the issue all the way back 20 years ago. We saw a Hilltop paper from 2001, the year I was born, talking about mold in the dorm. However, the university still refuses to give transparency and give the appropriate remediation methods that anybody, Betsy Sue, from the street who had mold in her house could, exemplify or give a testimony to what that looks like in regards to public health and safety matters. But the university just refuses to do it.
The school has said they've addressed a number of the concerns, that there have been cleanings, air sampling and moisture chest filter changes. It sounds like you don't feel that has made a difference. It raises a lot of questions. I think it leaves people, to your point that you just made about you're paying to go to school here, it leaves people scratching their heads as to how this is not being dealt with. You're essentially trying to talk to your landlord to get things fixed.
I have been screaming from the top of my voice how there's been a great decline and deterioration of the Hamite black people since slavery. We're doing worse now. This, trust me, Booker T. Washington and Adam Clayton Powell could never imagine Howard University slumping into where it's at this present moment. My generation could not imagine that something like this would be spoken about Howard University, because there used to be an ethic that we had. And I try to talk to the young people, and in many ways, many of the old people who have have thrived on racial hatred, hating the white man, blaming the white man for everything that's wrong. And they told on here, but black people used to live in a much better world. Howard University, it was a crown jewel. You would never think of it being a place where now the students are rising up and saying that the place it's a slum. If someone had said that 50 years, 60, 70 years ago about Howard, they would have assassinated you, because you would have been but Howard University is just one of millions of other institutions, or at least a large number of institutions, that used to have an ethic and a practice of structure that thrived for black people, for Hamite people. And Harlem used to be a beautiful place. Harlem was the flagship. I put together a piece the other day, said black people just say, well, if I can't get to heaven, just let me get to Harlem. If I can't get to heaven, just let me get to Harlem and I'm good to go. But now it is fallen into a cesspool of debauchery, poverty, homelessness, drug addiction, brokenness, poor performing schools, LGBT, same-sex, loving in the streets, Harlem, and other communities as well that were black and Hamite communities. But this ought to be a wake-up call, because I'm sure anybody hearing this is shocked. This is happening to Howard? They would be shocked that that the president of the school would let this take place. But what I want to say is this is happening to black Hamite culture, households, churches, everywhere you look. That's what's happening. And people look at me and say, well, Pastor Man is crazy. I was talking to Brother Charles Davis. He's a faithful member. Brother Davis lives out in Los Angeles, out there in California. I was talking to him the other day on the phone. He said, Pastor Man, when I first heard you, I thought you were crazy, man. People think I'm crazy. I'm telling you, this is case in point of what's happening to black people, their ethics, their business, globally, while at the same time we got all these black politicians. You got black mayor of Washington, D.C. The mayor down there is a black woman. Atlanta, Georgia, Houston, Texas, Richmond, Virginia, Baltimore, Maryland, Chicago, Illinois, San Francisco, California. I mean, everywhere you look, you got rising of these pensioners, while at the same time a destruction of the people. The common people are being destroyed. And so, and I keep screaming about it. What's happened to Howard's, happened to the churches, happened to the businesses, Freedom National Bank, happening to the banks, happening to the institutions, happening to the families. And everybody say, oh, well, we got a black president, we got a black mayor, we got a black mayor of New York, we got a black president, and black people are going to hell in a race-baiting handbasket. It's got to stop, I tell you. Somebody need to wake up and see what's happening. It wasn't always like this. I mean, this is a scream. Howard University? The students are rising up because the play, and let me tell you something. If the bathroom, and I used to go to people say, you go to a restaurant and the bathrooms are dirty, get out of there because food is dirty too. They're probably right. If the restaurant don't keep their bathrooms clean, they don't have to be modern, but they at least have to be clean. If the bathrooms aren't clean, don't eat at that restaurant. But if where the children are living, these are children, where they're living isn't well kept, then the education is probably worse than the living condition. Wake the hell up, people. Wake up. Wake up, everybody. No more sleeping in bed. No more of this going on. Wake up. Wake up, everybody. And teachers, you need to teach the truth. I thought that perhaps I would, I'd let you listen to that. What we going to do? You got to stop hating me. You got to stop letting the pinch-nosed Negro and the white liberal elites turn you against me. You got to stop it. You got to stop it. You got to stop letting these white liberals and these Democrats and these pinch-nosed Negroes and these LGBTQ people turn you against me. I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling that girl down there, she wasn't born in 2000 and down there in Howard now, sleeping in a rat-infested dorm. No, my brother, no. And by the way, we got a school here. Yeah, we do. I'm 25 years an educator. I'm 25 years an educator. Educating students, sending them off to the best colleges and schools. We got to jam up the education system here, and I'm going to let you experience it in just a moment. But stop letting these white liberals, Democrats, tell you to hate me. Stop it. Stop letting these LGBTQ, cross-dressing, transvestite queers tell you to hate me. We weren't always like this. I'm telling you, we used to have a better life than this. The more we depend on black politicians, the worse the life of black people get. I'm telling you, I'm old enough to know. Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't. But don't let them tell you to hate me. Don't let them, I'm telling you the truth. We got a school song, all right? And I want you to hear our school song. And the students will say it themselves, and you can read the graphics, the text messages from our school song. Bring your child to our school. You're in New York area, Connecticut, New Jersey, bring your child out of school, and we're going to give your child a great education. Listen to our school song, and I'm going to ask the engineer, they'll put it up. When it runs, you'll be able to read the graphics and to see the text about all the money that the institutions are giving to our children in terms of scholarship. So, Mr. Engineer, do you have it? Run it, please.
When you see the school called ATLAH, you see righteous boys and girls, always standing with the sword of the mighty God, as righteous leaders all over the world. We'll never turn to the left or the right. We shall prevail in all our fights, and we will say like Honorable Manning says, ATLAH, that's what God says. And we will say like all our teachers say, ATLAH, that's what God says. ATLAH, we love you. ATLAH, we love you. We love you. Great tomorrows, we love you. We love you. ATLAH, we love you. We love you. When you see the school called ATLAH, you see righteous boys and girls, always standing with the sword of the mighty God, as righteous leaders all over the world. We'll never turn to the left or the right. We shall prevail in all our fights, and we will say like Honorable Manning says, ATLAH, that's what God says. And we will say like all our teachers say, ATLAH, that's what God says. ATLAH, we love you. ATLAH, we love you. We love you. Great tomorrows, we love you. We love you. ATLAH, we love you. We love you.
Come on, everybody. Stop allowing these liberal whites, these Democrats, and these pensioners, Negroes, and the LGBTQ, the queers and the trannies. Stop allowing them to infest hatred towards me in your hearts. Come on, help me build ATLAH. Come on, help me build ATLAH. And we could rebuild Howard, too. I can get together with our structure of teachers and institutions. I get Dr. Hartfield to work, and we could rebuild Howard, make it ATLAH Howard. Come on now, stop letting these white liberals teach you how to hate me and despise the truth I tell you. I love you. I do. And I'm a man of Harlem. I'm here and I ain't going nowhere. Come on now. Stop letting these pensioners, Negroes, these Cornel West, these Michael Eric Dyson, these professors and these Don Lemons and these CNN people and Al the Buzzard Sharpton and Ben the Undertaker Crump and all the, stop it. Let's restore our dignity and our place before Almighty God. Amen. I'm James David Manning, everybody. I'm the Lord's servant. Don't you ever forget that either.